Oh yes guys, today we're discussing whether we are in a 2019 style bear market, just like Benjamin Cowen is discussing on his YouTube. Because as you can see, we are currently in a bearish trend on the money line, and this peak right here was a peak where not too much retail was in the market. When you look at YouTube subscribers, when you look at engagement in social media, when you look at subscribers to exchanges on Twitter, how many followers exchanges have, we haven't seen a repeat of 2021 or 2017 type cycle. And that's why Benjamin Cowen in his video is saying that we are likely repeating something like 2019, where we had this top right here. And this top right here was based on apathy. No one really cared about crypto. And despite the apathy, despite no one caring about crypto, somehow crypto still mastered this crazy run right here in 2019. And then we had a bit of a bear, and then the real bull market started afterwards. So the question is, how valid is this? Because this has some big implications on the projections for next year. Because if we see a bear market like this, it would be very short. And Benjamin Cowen specifically says that he ignores this dip right here because this was an anomaly. This was the COVID dump. It was an anomaly. And before I talk about what I agree with and what I disagree with, let me just tell you that I really appreciate his videos, and his channel is very, very good. So go and subscribe if you haven't yet. And also, if you're coming from Benjamin's channel, big welcome to you. And I hope to provide a few more pieces of perspective that will fill important gaps in your understanding of the market, and most importantly, your execution of the market. Because in our trading community, I do have people every day that come and they watched Benjamin's videos. And while they're great, and these people normally, they know all about macro, they know all of the M2, global M2, ISM, they know all about the Nasdaq chart from 1997 and how it applies to today. So they know all of this theoretical knowledge. The problem they have and what they're lacking is execution. For example, when I ask them, so based on everything you've seen on YouTube across different channels, have you de-risked from the October 8th top? And they say no. And if you've been watching our channel, you have de-risked. Or let's say that people have been expecting ETH to go to 5.3K after watching Benjamin. Obviously, that did not happen. It was a good theory that could have happened, but it's all about execution. How do you adjust your portfolio? How much money do you put in? Given all of the different scenarios, given the risk, given the fact that Bitcoin is going down. And many of them said, yes, I did take the trade. And when I asked them, what was your stop loss? What was your position size? They have no clue. So I hope to add a bit of practical knowledge about how to actually trade based on what's being said. So it's not only just theoretical, a lot of charts, a lot of this, a lot of that, but actually how do you manage the portfolio based on the analysis. So before we speak about the 2019 scenario, let me just recap our execution up until today. So as you remember, in 2023, right here, when the trend turned bullish, we went super heavily all in Bitcoin. Okay, this is very important. Why is it important? Because we didn't predict it. We didn't have a crystal orb. We didn't say that, somehow we see the future here. We just saw that the trend flipped. And as you know, the trend is your friend. Whenever you want to know where the market is going, you have to look at the current trend. So as soon as the bear trend turned into the bull trend, that was the biggest signal for us to go heavy into Bitcoin, because we know that we have a very good setup here where likely Bitcoin is going to go up a lot, because we just had a big bear trend and it ended, and now we have a massive bull trend. And ever since, we've been bullish, all of these different dips, we've been buying all the way until October 8th, which was right around here. Why? Because Bitcoin did a fake all-time high, and fake all-time high, we said it's very much like the 2021 situation. And then on the daily, we went into a bear trend very quickly, and this was the signal for us to start de-risking. Then we de-risked even more heavily after the bear flip on the weekly, and currently we are at approximately 30% allocation in Bitcoin, and the rest is out of the market. And all in all, we are waiting for the market to tell us where it wants to go. If we now look ahead and see where we're likely to end up in the coming weeks and quarters and months, we will be attracted like a magnet towards the 200-week moving average right here. And this thing goes up. So sooner or later, we will have the magnetism towards it. Now, before that, of course, we could have a relief rally, let's say to the moving average here. Could happen, but overall we will be attracted more and more towards this 200-week moving average. If we now look at what happened in 2019, you'll see that actually very similar things happen. Very similar things happen. We did go and we touched the 200-week moving average. Now, if you look at this whole move, including the COVID dump, I would say that something like this could definitely repeat again, and this would be a signal for us to start become bullish once we hit the 200-week moving average, and especially later once the bull trend really turns bullish, because you can see this is the best signal in terms of risk reward, because after this flip bullish, it was, big fat rocket up. So this is important to realize from the perspective of topping on apathy and then having some kind of 2019 repetition. Now, as far as I understand, Benjamin says that he doesn't really count this candle as part of the 2019 bear market because it was an anomaly. And here is where I don't really agree from this perspective that we cannot count the COVID down, because for one reason or another, we did surgically touch 200-week moving average here. Let's say COVID didn't happen. Would we bleed just slowly to 200-week? I mean, who the hell knows? But all in all, the bears ran out of coins exactly at the 200-week moving average, just like they did right here, or just like it did in the 2015 bear market right here. If you look at the recent bear market, what we saw was that we actually went below the 200-week moving average. It was here in 2022, we actually went below it. So just another argument that normally we go to 200-week moving average or even sometimes a bit below it. So it wouldn't be too crazy if we repeat something in this cycle as well. Now, let's speak about apathy, because Benjamin speaks about the fact that this top in 2025 and the top in 2019 were both so-called apathy tops, meaning that you didn't have a lot of retail. Retail did not really subscribe to YouTubers, so YouTubers didn't get a lot of more subscribers. And the same thing is with Twitter. Twitter followers did not increase for the big Twitter accounts and exchanges. So that's how we define apathy if we just look at Benjamin Cowen's definition. At the same time, if you think back to 2019, what happened here? Do you remember what happened in March 2019? Do you remember what happened in May 2019 when this top right here was created? I mean, personally, I cannot think about many things. I cannot think of many things that happened here. If you ask me, hey, Ivan, do you remember what happened in 2024 and 2025? Man, I can give you a lot. I can give you a lot. Trump did a meme coin, rug pull. You had the president, literally president of the United States doing meme coin, rug pull. Melania, first lady, did a freaking meme coin, also rug pull. You had the meme season. You had the craziness that took place with so much volume, record-breaking volume on chain on Solana memes. So of course, to say that what we just had is like 2019, you cannot really say that. It's obviously very, very different. Yes, in terms of subscribers, in terms of followers, I would agree that this cycle hasn't been too crazy. But in terms of having a crazy, greed-filled, frothy market, we did have that. Absolutely. Yes, Cardano did not pump. Yes, AVAX did not pump. XRP did not do 100x. IOTA did not do 1,000,000x like in 2017. That did not happen. But did other things happen? Of course. And is it comparable to 2019? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So the cycle is unique. It's not comparable to 2021. It's also not comparable to 2019. It's totally different. And also, imagine all of the different DATs, MicroStrategy raising hundreds of billions. I mean, it's been crazy in terms of frothiness in Wall Street as well. BlackRock, MicroStrategy, all of the DATs, each altcoin had a DAT a few weeks ago, you remember. So to say that we are just like 2019 and you compare this pump right here to 2019 and then you say we're going to have something similar, I don't think it's fully accurate. Obviously, there are some similarities with, for example, YouTube followers not growing. Also, another similarity is that QT is ending, and maybe we're gonna have QE soon, but QT is ending, just like in 2019. But as you can see, it is not clear-cut. The comparison is not clean. It's not a clear-cut thing. And by the way, speaking about MicroStrategy and speaking about DATs, you know that many of them are kind of collapsing right now. Look at MetaPlanet. Unrealized P&L is minus 500 million. MicroStrategy has been saying for the longest time ever that they will never sell Bitcoin. Saylor has been yelling, I will never, ever, ever sell Bitcoin. Now he's coming out saying that they may have to sell Bitcoin to service the debt, to pay dividends, and so on and so forth. So this is very important to realize that when you have greed in the market, new weaknesses are being created. For example, in the last bull market, we had a lot of greed and we had Celsius, we had BlockFi, we had the whole FCX thing. So when there is froth, when there is frothiness, greed, you have new weaknesses and they have to be flushed in the bear. Did we have any of that in 2019? Of course not. In 2019, we didn't have any super greed. We didn't have a lot of new weaknesses introduced, which we did have, in my opinion, this cycle. And that's why I also think that this move down, this bear, likely is not going to be the same as in 2019. Instead, we have to flush the weaknesses in one way or another. You look at all of the DATs, again, each and every altcoin had its own DAT a few weeks ago. How they're gonna survive the coming months, we have to see. But the market will chase the weak lambs, you know, in the weak gazelles. Just like in the Lion King, you have the lion, you have weak gazelle. The market sees that the market is gonna come after them. 2019, we didn't have that. So guys, as you can see, we can be here all day, all night speaking about that this is a similarity, this is not a similarity, this is the same, this is not the same. If we copy the Nasdaq chart from 1997, we overlay it, it looks the same, but Nasdaq chart from 1989 is not. Listen, we can be here all day, all night. The question is, what are the practical moves and how do we see the current market in all of this context and what do we do? As you know, especially if you've been watching this channel, we never try to predict anything. You don't want to try to, we never have predicted. I mean, imagine this. We never have predicted anything, and yet, despite not trying to predict, look here, we bought early 2023, held all the way, started to exit on October 8th when daily trend turned bearish, and then accelerated profit taking when we were below 50-week, and then when we went below the money line bearish on the weekly. I mean, it's perfect execution. We've had perfect execution, not trying to predict anything, because at the end of the day, no one knows what's going to happen. Of course, we can see a repetition of this and that, but likely it's not going to repeat. Likely it's going to be something new. And as you know, cycles, they are similar, but they're never the same. History rhymes, but it's never exactly repeating. It doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. So, all in all, you cannot put your trading portfolio in the hands of all of these scenarios and all of this speculation. You don't know, no one knows. Have a trading strategy which actually keeps you in the long bull trends, like this one from 2023 all the way to the peak, and then removes you from big downtrend. So what am I doing practically? What am I doing practically? Practically, we're waiting for the trend to turn bullish. And likely, if I have to guess, let's say I have gone to my head, I have to guess, likely we will go down here to the 200-week moving average, which is, by the way, also what we did in 2019, if we don't ignore the COVID dump. That is my only thing that I disagree with Benjamin, because I believe he said that he ignores the COVID dump, which took us to 200-week moving average. If we go to 200-week moving average, it's going to be a very, very good signal that the risk reward is way better to be more bullish. And then once we also flip bullish on the money line, it's going to be the final and most important signal to go heavy bull. And guys, here's the best part, and I almost don't want to say it because I sound cocky, but it's true. I'm very humble, really. But the best part is that even if I'm wrong about this move down and we just explode to the upside right now, I will still be more successful than you in trading. I will make more money than you. I will be more profitable than you. And I'm saying that from a place of love, because I've been exactly where you are. You're told support resistance, you try to follow support resistance, you get wrecked, nothing breaks out like you want. But let me explain to you why I will be more profitable and also teach you how you can become the same. So as you see very interesting thing. Let's say that I'm fully wrong. We don't go down. We just explode to $1 million, like 150K, 200K. We just go up from here. You see something interesting? Bitcoin will flip bullish on 120K right now, which is below the price at which we started to de-risk on October 8th, okay? So even if we go all the way up here and we just moon, this will be my signal to turn bullish again, and I can buy it all back, even below the price at which we started to de-risk. So even if we're wrong, we are in a very good spot. We're not going to miss the move to 1 million. And this is how trading should be done, guys. Trading is not that you make a mistake and you suffer the consequences. Not at all. Trading is that you have a weaker chart, you adapt your portfolio, you become more and more conservative. You have a strong chart, you adapt the portfolio, you become more and more risk on. That's it. If it goes against you, well, you have the other side, you have the other signal. Let's say you're bullish, but it turned out to be bearish. Okay, you adapt, you're still okay. You still ride the big trend to whatever side that the trend is in. Following the trend and not predicting is the most important lesson you can take from this whole video. If there's one single thing you can learn, just follow the trend. I don't know what's gonna happen, no one knows, but I know if a trend is bearish, it likely will continue to be bearish. And if a trend is bullish, it likely will continue to be bullish. And once it flips, we flip. That's it. Being a bull or a bear is not an identity. Some people confuse their stance in the market with their identity. They're like, I'm a bull. I'm a bull, it's part of who I am. But then, when people see me navigating the market kind of perfectly, I mean, again, I'm very humble, but we did de-risk on October 8th. It's perfect. It's as perfect as it gets, and we got super bullish on January 2023. So when they see me navigating, they get angry when I switch the direction. I remember in 2023, people were angry at me for being bullish. They said we're gonna go down because if you remember 2023, it was right after the FTX collapse. Exactly right after the FTX collapse. FTX collapsed right here, this was the collapse, and then this was the collapse here, November. This was the collapse, and we turned bullish here in January. So November was the collapse, January was the bull trend. And of course, when I said that I'm bullish, many people were so angry because some of them just capitulated here. They held the whole bear, even though we said don't hold in a bear. They still held the whole bear. They just capitulated. And now Ivan turned bullish. Of course, it's annoying as hell. People didn't want to hear it. And the same thing is here. People don't want to hear that I'm bearish either. So they're confused. Ivan, but you were just bullish. How you're bearish? Or you were just bearish. How you bullish? Listen, your stance in the market is not your identity. So guys, hope that makes sense. Basically, we follow the trend. We don't try to predict because nothing is the same. Nothing is different either. Like it's all kind of the same, kind of not the same as always. So it's not important even. What's important is what do you do with the information. If you want to learn more about my system of trading, use the link below. Watch the free training here about the mechanical rules. What I described to you here is really part of the mechanical rules playbook that we have. It's fully free training. Watch the link below. A big shout out to Benjamin. Subscribe to Benjamin Cowen, and see you all very, very soon. Have a good day. Subscribe and goodbye.